Hey, look, it's a movie about cars, family, and explosions.
Which means we must be doing another episode on another movie in the Fast and Furious franchise.
That's right. We're going to be finding the good in Fast X on this episode of the Finding Good podcast with Kevin and Milton.
Okay, well, welcome back to the Finding Good podcast. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about Fast X. It's a movie that came out in the summer. And what?
Nothing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're looking at Jason and you instantly laughed. That's what happened.
Well, okay, look, let's talk about these movies for a second before we jump into the deep-ish stuff.
Yeah.
There is, as we were prepping, we were saying, like, how many more times can we talk about family? I mean, it's obvious what these movies are about.
Right.
It's a family movie wrapped in ridiculous car explosions.
Over the top, yeah.
But I do have to say, just on the film side of it, Jason Momoa is one of the funnest villains I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Yeah.
I saw a side of him acting-wise that I hadn't seen before, and I really, really enjoyed watching him on screen this time.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Every line you're laughing at, and you're like, I love hating this guy. It's great. And he did a really good job, brought a very unique role to the franchise, which I thought was fun.
Now, I want your opinion on something. This doesn't have to do with Fast X per se, but spoiler alert, this is the first half of a full movie, I guess. And we're seeing this more.
So there's going to be a
Fast
11.
X2, or I don't know how they're going to do that one.
XI1.
But how are you feeling about this reality? We saw it in Dune. We saw it in this movie. We saw it in Across the Spider-Verse. I didn't go in knowing that it was the first half, so it gets to the end, and then it ends, and it's like coming soon, then part 2 or whatever.
My son threw something at the TV.
Okay, yeah. so there you go. So I get it. Like, you don't want to be in a theater for 5 hours.
Right.
But I'm getting a little tired of the half, paying for half of a movie.
It doesn't feel like you're getting the full thing.
Right.
No, for sure. And I think we really saw this with maybe the Hunger Games. I'm trying to think if there was another movie that really did this, where they went into it knowing they filmed multiple movies at once.
Yeah, usually they tell you part 1, part 2,
Sure.
not this. Like, you're going in and then it's like, what?
Right, yeah. I don't mind it.
Okay.
Because it keeps the story going. I mean, let's keep this bankroll going, baby. I mean, let's just keep going and going.
It is a business. I get that. So, okay.
And as a fan of the Marvel series, as you are,
yeah,
this is the model. Every story leads into the next. But I think more of what you're saying, there's not closure. It's like a ...
Right.
And
now I have to wait 9 months for the other part of it.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Well.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's our fault for continuing to go to these.
I mean, we're giving them our money, so they're going to keep making these movies. So when you and I are 85 and watching Fast XXXS III, hopefully we're still doing the podcast.
As long as there's rockets on the wheelchairs, I'm there. I'm there.
Well, now you just gave them the plot of the next movie.
That's true. With family.
And that's kind of where we want to jump on this. The level of ridiculousness of these movies. Yes. I mean, you watch the first Fast and Furious, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, right? That was a great story, had great, character arcs and everything. And then each movie just got crazier and crazier until we have this one where the Vatican City almost blows up because of a bomb rolling down Rome's steps, right?
Yeah. I mean, not as crazy as a couple movies ago when they went into space.
That was pretty crazy.
That was like next level.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's bring it down literally a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it was interesting as we were talking, like, this movie is ridiculous, okay? But it's true that there are times in life that ridiculous things happen. Okay? I mean, everyone has these stories that unless you lived it yourself, you wouldn't believe that it happened. And even in those moments, they're fun. You can laugh at them. Maybe you didn't laugh in the moment, but you do laugh at them later on thinking back because it's so ridiculous that you put yourself in that situation or that you experienced that thing or someone made that dumb decision. And you can laugh at it later. But even in those moments, you can still pull value out of them. You can still enjoy them. You can learn from them. And I thought it would be fun. Do you and I have stories like that we can share with our watching audience, our listening audience, and hopefully encourage them? And we want to encourage you to share those stories with us in the comments. Like, tell us what your story is. And I'll start. Okay. So
now I have not heard the story.
No.
Okay.
So I lived in an apartment building in New York. That's where I grew up.
All right.
It was called Crystal House, 630 Shore Road, Crystal House. Beachfront property. And my father, I didn't live there because I was rich. My father was the superintendent of the building. He had his crew. They fixed all the problems. They made sure all the trash went out when it did, and they took care of all the things. And we had a lady who wanted to, it was a 7-story building.
Okay.
She lived on the next to the last floor, I believe. And she had purchased for her apartment, okay, think about it, it's an apartment. She had purchased a large couch. And she asked my father and the crew to somehow get this couch up to her apartment. They tried to go through the fire stairwell, and it wasn't gonna happen. So my dad and his crew got the great idea they couldn't fit it in the elevator either. Okay.
So all the logical
options were gone.
Yeah, now comes the good ideas.
Here's the great idea. My father and his crew decide that because
he's saying his crew, like, what does that mean?
He has like three or four workers that they'll paint apartments or fix, So
this is a multi-purpose job.
Yeah.
Got it.
So he gets his crew and he says, let's get this thing up there on top of the elevator. See, they had a key that they could control the elevator more than just pressing the buttons. So what they did is they brought the couch into the lobby to the first floor. They dropped the elevator down, put something on top of the elevator, and then put the couch on top of the elevator. Are you getting this?
OSHA approved?
Oh, what is OSHA? I don't even know if OSHA existed back then.
Right, yeah.
So they put the couch on top of the elevator.
Okay.
And then my father stays on top of the elevator with another guy to hold it because it's going to shift in there.
Okay.
And then Vincent, the oldest guy in the crew, they put inside the elevator.
Why? What's his job?
His job is to make sure that he stops the elevator before the top of the elevator shaft.
That's his job?
That's his job. His job is to, hit the button to the 6th floor and then take it up. Okay, well, he doesn't exactly know, where he's supposed to stop. So my father goes to him and tells him, I'm going to give you a signal. When I give you the signal, stop the elevator because you have to stop it at a certain point so we can get the couch out. Okay? This is the grand scheme, the grand plan.
All right, yeah.
So they start going up. And elevators go up pretty fast.
Yeah.
And they're getting close to the floor. And my father tells Vincent, okay, Vincent, stop the elevator. Now, I don't know what Vincent was doing. I don't know if he didn't have a cell phone didn't exist back then. So he wasn't he wasn't scrolling through Instagram or anything. He's just either he didn't hear my dad or not paying attention. Passes the floor. Heading to the top of the elevator shaft,
where he's going to get smushed.
Well, you're ruining the end of the story here because what happens is that the elevator pushes and pins the couch from the top of the elevator to the top of the
it would have kept going.
It would have kept going. So now this couch is just being compressed.
It jammed the elevator.
It jammed the elevator, but the elevator is stronger than the couch.
Oh no!
So my dad is up there holding this couch with his other coworker. Vincent is in there not paying attention. The couch is slowly And now the couch is splintering. It's cracking and
What?
splintering and shooting little wooden darts out. And my dad is like, Vincent, stop the elevator. And now all Vincent is hearing is just commotion and human yelling.
yeah.
And he thinks, I just killed my boss. He's just like, I just stabbed my boss through the heart with a wooden stake.
Vincent sounds like an idiot.
Vincent, we love Vincent.
Okay.
So finally, Vincent stops the elevator, but the couch is pummeled.
Oh, yeah.
Completely pummeled.
That'll fit now.
Every time I think of that story, I just laugh at this just foolishness of my father and his crew. So there you go.
That's a pretty good story. Did anything happen like afterwards, or was it just like?
Of course, the lady's couch had to be replaced. She wasn't happy.
She wasn't happy.
I'm not sure I'm not sure if they replaced her, or just gave her the money, or she just said like this isn't possible because it's not.
I love how she wasn't happy. I think that's my favorite part of the whole story. You have to deal with people's complaints in that situation.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
When I tell that story to kids,
Yeah.
I do a lot of speaking for, like elementary schools and stuff.
Sure.
And I tell them that story as just the whole idea of like when you live in pressure,
Sure,
how
yeah.
you can break down and you can explode and get angry or whatever. So
Tie it to a couple of things.
Yeah. I try to teach a lesson out of this
That's what we do.
ridiculousness.
That's what we do on the podcast. We watch ridiculousness and then we try to find the good in it. It's literally
Like Fast X.
It's literally every episode. Good story. Mine isn't as wonderful, but I'm
sure it's great.
It was definitely a moment of like craziness.
Okay.
I was in Nashville and was visiting visiting some artists and labels and doing kind of the music thing. Got a vehicle that was rented for me because we were doing an award show. So they had rented this big giant, what's kind of the big $100,000 SUV car?
Oh, like an Escalade?
Escalade, yes, an Escalade. I mean, this thing was maxed out, beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm driving this back to the airport, and I drop off my friend at his hotel, and I'm on my way to the airport, and of course I'm rushed and behind, because always, and I clip a curb going into, I mean, you've driven with me, this isn't a surprise.
Well,
So I drop off my friend at the hotel, and I clip the curb I'm going 3 miles an hour. Don't think anything of it. Get on the freeway about 10 minutes later, and all of a sudden the car just starts like bouncing up and down.
Oh, you got a flat tire?
Dang, I got a flat tire. Like, oh no. And I pull over. This tire was just exploded.
Oh, shards.
Shards, yeah, everywhere. And my guess is I must have clipped the curb enough that I ruined it.
Sure.
So what am I going to do?
What a guess.
Like,
Duh.
now, I am beyond being capable of changing a tire by myself. I can't,
What?
I can't do it. I can barely change
Kevin.
a spark plug.
Are you serious?
I don't even know how to call AA.
Grady
Is it
has.
AAA? It's AA. It's not.
It's not AA. What are you?
They're probably better at changing
Grady
tires.
is so disappointed in you right now. Our producer is just shaking his head in the studio right now.
I'm sorry. It's a true story too. So I got nothing. So I called the rental company and I say, hey, I've got a tire. Okay, we'll send someone there. They'll be there in 30 minutes. I don't have 30 minutes. I need to go there now. And so 45 minutes later, I'm still waiting.
What?
I'm like, well, enough with this. So I call an Uber.
Okay.
They're there in 10 minutes. So now I'm like, I can't leave this car, but I'm just leaving it at some random gas station, like off the side of the road. And so I'm going to the airport. Now I'm super late. I go and I get dropped off in the rental car garage. I don't know why he did that instead of dropping me off at the
terminal. Yeah.
And I'm running through, and I get in the elevator, and it goes down. Elevators. It goes down, and I get stuck.
What?
The thing just turns off.
Oh,
And I'm stuck in the elevator.
you're kidding.
There's no one around. I have no idea what to do. An hour passes that I'm hitting buttons. I'm calling. Nobody's answering. I'm like the alarm button wouldn't even work because I think the whole electricity went off. Now, I've never been stuck in an elevator before, but like that was the worst.
That sounds awful.
Yes. And,
Were you by yourself?
Yes, by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So finally I get out. At this point, I've missed my flight. I mean, I have like 3 minutes to get to the gate. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Find out that my flight's delayed.
Oh.
So I have time.
Yo.
But I need to like hustle.
Right.
So I throw my keys at the rental lady, and it said, "Just call me later. We'll take care of this." And I just go, hustle my butt through the airport. Of course, we're in masks still, so I can't breathe. I get through. I like beg people in security, like, "I'm so late. Sorry." I jump in the front of the line. I'm running like full sprint to the gate. Delayed another hour.
What?
Yep. So all of that was just the stress of being late and missing my flight and wanting to be home after a long week. And the rental car's blown up and I got stuck in an elevator. And so that was like, to me, that was like, well, that's a little crazy.
What you think back on that moment? What do you take away from that moment? Like that.
I need to learn how to change a tire.
Well, yeah, duh. That's an easy one.
I mean, we talk a lot. If you didn't watch the episode on Barbie, we talked a little bit about control.
Yeah.
And that's my takeaway again, of just like, let it go. Like it's okay. So you don't get home today. You can get home tomorrow. You can figure it out.
Right.
I was so agitated and stressed during that entire moment that I think if I went back to do it again, you know what? Stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's out of your control. Actually, that one was kind of in my control because I ran over the curb. But the rest of it, what can you do? So just take life as it throws punches at you, and you're going to survive it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if I told the story, if I was calm, then you just miss your flight. And you just get on another flight, and your whole entire life continues. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I was so stressed in that moment. So.
It's amazing as you go through life how you realize there's very few life and death situations.
Right.
Even though many things feel like they are life and death situations, but when you look back after it's over, you're just like, why did I make that such a big deal?
Yeah, that's every day for me. That's everyday reflection for me.
Well, let's get our third elevator story in here because I've got another.
You got some good stories.
I lived in a building with an elevator. So, I mean, it's...
Wait, this is another story with an elevator.
I'm going to give you another elevator story. So, okay, so because of my father's job, a lot of people would go to him when they were on vacation.
Okay.
Like, hey, we're going to be gone because living in New York, we had a lot of retired people who would live, during the winter, they would live in Florida, and during the summer, they would live in New York.
Right.
And they had two places, kind of high income area. So when people were gone and they didn't want to take their pets with them, they would ask my dad if my brother and I would, take care of their bird or walk their dog and feed their dog, all that kind of stuff. And there was one dog that we would see a lot because my dad had a relationship with those tenants, and we hated this dog. I mean, this dog was such a yapper.
Yeah.
And would hide under my grandma's bed because my grandma lived with us, my grandma and grandpa. And if we ever even tried to go in my grandma's room, would just come out and just snarl at us and bark at us and nip at our ankles. I mean, we just hated it.
Did you smash it in the elevator? Is that where we're going?
No, we're not going. So my mom tells my brother and I, okay, it's time for the dog to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And my brother and I get in a fight. Hey, it's your turn to walk the dog. I walked the dog last time. No, it's your turn. I know, back and forth. So my mom, being the wise woman that she was and the scary woman that she was, she says, oh, you guys are going to fight about it? Now you're both going to go walk the dog.
That's right. It's good.
Oh, great. So I look at my brother. Of course, I'm blaming him for this thing. He's blaming me. So we're mad at each other. So I'm like, fine, let's go. So he gets the leash and he hooks the leash onto the dog. And we have to walk down the hallway and to the left to get to the elevator. We're on the last apartment on the hallway. So we're walking. I'm walking in front. My brother's walking behind me, holding the leash. And the dog is in between us. Walking towards the elevator. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Get to the elevator. I hit the button. Now, we live on the second floor, mind you.
Okay.
We could have easily just walked down the stairs and none of this would have happened. But we decided to take the elevator because we're lazy kids, right?
It's fun.
And that's
like a
true.
ride.
Yeah, riding the elevator's fun. So I know my brother's behind me. I know the dog is behind me. And I know that when the elevator door opens, we're all going to walk into the elevator together. So the elevator doors open.
Yes.
And I go in with much faith that the plans that I have going on in my mind are about to happen.
Yeah.
Well, for whatever reason, the dog follows me because dogs follow. My brother, for some strange, ridiculous, stupid reason, not paying attention, stays in the hallway.
Okay.
So he's holding the leash.
Yeah.
The dog and I are in the elevator, but he's not. And the door closes.
Oh, no.
And I turn around and I say, I hit the button.
Yeah.
I turn around and I say, where is Henry? The elevator starts moving. Now, let me explain the science of an elevator. The elevator is a box that lives inside a shaft.
Okay, yep.
So all that moves is the box inside the shaft.
Right.
So my brother is out here. I'm inside the elevator with the dog.
Yes.
And there's a leash between us. The elevator starts moving. Somehow it went up instead of down. So what happens? The dog starts being pulled towards the elevator door on the inside of the elevator as the leash is being stretched. Right. It's very bad. It's very bad. The dog
is it mid-air?
It's like is in a Fast X movie. Just like this. I find out later, because I asked my brother what happened.
Right, yeah.
That he let go of the leash, and all he saw was the leash hit the door and start going up the elevator seam. I don't know if it was Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit, or just my instincts, I hit the emergency stop button. All the alarms start sounding. All the lights start flashing. And the dog is just...
Wasn't midair? It was just...
No, just on the floor, but just holding it. And I'm trying to unhook the leash, and the dog is just giving me... It was hard. And I finally unhooked the leash. The leash falls down all the way down to the bottom of the shaft. Then I pick the dog up. The dog is trembling, saying, why did my parents leave me with these crazy people? And I'm just like... What is Henry doing?
Yeah.
Like, why would you just stay out there?
So what did he say? Like
nothing. He doesn't know. He doesn't know why he does the dumb things that he does.
Right. So I'm getting some similarities between these two ridiculous stories.
Yes.
And don't go in elevators with other people. That's what I'm like.
Maybe
other people cannot be relied upon to do what they need to do around elevators in your life.
Here's the easy one. Can you just follow the leader? Like the leader is right there. Yes. You know where you're supposed to go. Just follow. It's not that hard.
It's a true story.
So, we still laugh about that one today. Those people were not very happy with us. I don't remember taking the care of the dog after that much.
But you still love your brother.
I do love my brother.
And he's part of family.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to end this episode. Because Fast X is all about family.
It's all about family.
That's every single time. Well, it was a little bit different today. I hope you got to know. I had some fun getting to know us a little bit and just what we're good at, what we're frustrated at, how life is crazy. And we want to hear your stories as well. Post in the comments. Maybe you can tell us one of your crazy moments, your ridiculous moments in life. We'll find some good in those as well. Until we talk again, take care.